Today we're very privileged to have three artists who are participants in the Biennale of Sydney 2008. Andreas Siqueland and Anders Kjellesvik and Darius Mixis. Anders and Andreas, you've only been collaborating together a short time then for this particular exhibition.
With Caroline, yeah. Yeah.
But together as artists?
For almost 5 years.
Okay.
And we are Pt1 signals.
Could you explain the name Pt1? Your group name, which is a utopia backwards.
I guess it's something to do with turning things around and going back to old ideas maybe and testing them again.
Okay. How did you come to work together as a collaborative group? Did you know each other in art school, for example? Or?
Right. We met at the Royal Academy in Copenhagen, probably in 2004. And Andreas came from Geneva in Switzerland, and I came from Norway, Bergen. And we had 2 years in Copenhagen together.
Okay. And collaboration is a really interesting process for people outside of the art world. How do you work together? Do you make time to come to meetings? Are you on the telephone? Do you have fights? Is there conflict?
All of the above. I think, yeah. But
it changes. The first 2 years we more or less lived together and traveled together all the time, like full time. Last years we have been living in Berlin and Paris, so then we're just visiting each other. Worked a lot on Skype and internet, and
doing like travels together, and then it's more intense. And
for all the shows we use several weeks together.
For this particular exhibition in the Biennale of Sydney, you've prepared an installation of photographs which record an expedition that you made to Iceland. And there's an element of danger in a lot of the photographs that you've taken. There's an element of humour in a lot of photographs that are on display. Before you went on this expedition, did you conceive of any of the final outcomes? Did you discuss how you thought it might turn out?
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, we have inspiration for the work, but then afterwards, it's also very much dependent on place and time. So we did a series of sculptural interventions in nature that sort of record our relationship with the particular space and being there. I mean, this kind of vast natural space which Iceland offers. Yeah.
It's very site-specific, all the work, so it's also many things happens when we meet local inhabitants.
And so did the local people tell you stories of the particular places where you were, which influenced?
For instance, or the stories we've read, or...
Yeah, so we did like a studio before we went on the expedition, but so we didn't know what to do, but we had like many ideas, talked all the time,
I think it's probably a continuation of, like in all art, I think there's a continuation of history, and a lot of our projects have been of a social nature as well. So it's a link to the past and also the link to the present and the way that they are organized, which is quite different from this pure modernistic project.
That you see as more separate.
Yeah, which is maybe more about the object, or also more about the idea of the avant-garde.
Okay. So, if your work is social, how would you describe your Islands project?
For instance,
as
I mean,
social.
like we're working on this boat project, which is then, instead of presenting a final piece here at the Biennale, we're working on it every day, and people can come and visit us. So it's always an interaction with the public, and this is a way of presenting art in a more social context, where people can, and where we have this interaction, which influences the project as well. And
we couldn't have done it without help from locals, like boat builders and stuff. So it's very important to also involve them within the whole process.
So you're extending the parameters of collaboration.
it's also the way of showing, like, when you see an art piece, it changes all the time. So when we're working, the visitor that comes one day sees one object, and the next day it's different. So it's an ongoing, it's a way to show art in a process, which has always been an important part of our work.
So you're revealing the process of development as the art form.
So it's not like about always showing a beautiful object, but it's also about this interaction which creates the object as well. Yeah.
So in the Cockatoo Island project, were you, in your discussions with boat builders, with the people who came to see you building the boat, has that changed the actual project itself?
Yeah, it's been developing the whole project, and then the guy who's helping us building the boat is very much influencing also the final outcome.
Well, you want it to float.
Exactly. Well, it's one part of it. Yeah.